And it's important if you're on a near vegan or vegan diet that you don't shrink your brain. What good is it to live to be 90 to 100 years old if you have no brain function when you're that old? It's true that B12 deficiency could shrink the brain and destroy and permanently damage your brain cells. But it's been well established in scientific studies that DHA deficiency can cause brain shrinkage, leading to permanent dementia. That's established, that shrinkage of the brain occurs with DHA deficiency, right? Here's a study of over 1,000 people followed for 8 years, showing that lower levels of DHA lead to smaller brain, loss of memory, and dementia. And here's a research study on 166 vegans who were not supplementing with DHA, showing that 64 were insufficient levels of DHA for the brain, and 27% were severely deficient. A vegan diet that's not supplemented could lead to dementia in a large number of people. Now, it's true that about a third of vegans don't need to take DHA because they produce enough DHA on their own, but what we determined in this study was that it wasn't the consumption of ALA from walnuts and green vegetables and flax seeds that enabled some vegans to have adequate levels. It wasn't that at all. Why some vegans had adequate levels and others did not was genetically determined by the activity of their conversion enzyme. It's the genes making one person different from another. You can't eat yourself to an adequate DHA by just eating more walnuts or flax seeds. In other words, another irresponsible position by the radical vegans who want to tell people they don't have to take any supplements except B12, and a vegan diet is better in all nutrients, when in fact they're creating the possibility of people developing dementia and depression that has occurred in so many vegans that have left the vegan diet who developed depression because of lack of DHA in the brain. That's completely irresponsible by some people, even some people speaking at this conference. Yes?
I'm curious if you can test for that. So say
Yes, it's a blood test. Yep.
So even if I'm taking DHA, but I want to know if I need to be taking it.
Well, if you're taking it, you can't know if you need to be taking it, because if you're taking it, it's going to come out normal. To know if you need to take it, you have to not take it. Probably 3 or 4 months to know if you really need to take it. Right, if you eat the fish and you get you get the DHA to protect the brain, but then you, of course, get the cancer and the mercury and the PCBs and the fuel retardant chemicals and the extra protein which shortens lifespan. So what I'm saying I'm advising people to get their DHA from a vegan source, like a vegan algae, and not rely on eating enough fish to assure brain function with DHA. Don't assure enough brain function with fish oil or fish, because that's also going to be dangerous. We're talking here about how animal protein raises IGF-1 too high and accelerates aging. The most important macronutrient not to take excess amount of. If you're going to eat a little more of one thing, or a little too many beans, or a little too many nuts, but if you're going to eat too much of this thing is the most dangerous, it's animal protein. Because too much animal protein drives up IGF-1 and ages you, is the most, animal protein is the factor that ages people the most rapidly. It's most growth promoting, most hormonally promoting. We don't want to promote animal protein, and that's why egg whites are probably even more dangerous than egg yolk, than the whole egg. That's why skim milk is more prostate cancer causing than whole milk, because you concentrated the animal protein. That's why these weightlifters taking whey protein and casein and all this stuff to get bigger are shortening their lifespan. We're not focused on protein. We want more plant protein. But I'm warning people that we don't want to willy-nilly follow a vegan diet and not assure that you have adequate levels of these nutrients that would be found in fish if you had eaten the fish. Because a vegan diet has not been a diet for a millennium, for generations, to assure that, we haven't had many people showing it's protective without any supplementation. You need to get those nutrients in to at least make sure you're protected. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up in 2 minutes, okay? Your number should be, the DHA omega-3 index should be above 4. Above 4.5 would be better. But I'd say above 4.5. Because below 3.5, we see definite brain shrinkage. That we know. Excuse me?
How do you get DHA in your body?
What I'm saying to you is DHA is a fat that comes from fish. And your body can make it from ALA, from walnuts and flax seeds, but most vegans don't make enough of it to be adequate. A lot of people, and they have to have, if they're not going to eat any animal products, any frogs, any lizards, any snakes, or any worms, they should be taking some little bit of vegan DHA made from algae to make sure they have an adequate level, just like you're taking B12. You shouldn't take chances with your brain health. Shouldn't be making some person on a stage, some nutritional guru, having you take chances with your life and be gambling with your future. You want to act in a way that's conservative and responsible. Do you follow that? If they disagree, I don't care. It's not a hypothesis. You don't gamble with people's lives. If you want to make it a hypothesis, let them do it with their own lives. With other people's lives, at least check a blood test then to make sure a person's not deficient. Just because too much of something is bad doesn't mean being dramatically deficient in something is good. We got to make sure you have at least a... And anyway, let me wrap this up now, okay? I'll skip a lot of things here because I was going too slow, but we're talking about a diet that's vegetable-based, where most of your calories come from vegetables. Sure, you eat beans and you eat nuts, you eat intact grains, but you have to restrict animal products and oils, and of course, you're focusing on nutrient-dense calories. That's what a Nutritarian diet's all about. You don't have to be 100% vegan to be a Nutritarian, but you can't eat many animal products. The maximum amount for a person who wants to eat animal products should be like 8 ounces a week. People in America eat like 15 ounces a day. If you have friends or neighbors or relatives that say, no way I'm being a vegan, at least get them to agree to cut back to minimal amounts. So then they have room in their diet to eat all the healthy vegetation they're supposed to be eating. Because here's the thing, remember that about animal protein here. Animal protein drives IGF-1. It even drives IGF-1 up in predatory animals, right? So what's a predatory animal? A lion, a tiger, a wolf, right? A cat. They eat rodents and rabbits and other animals. What happens when the Canadian lynx, what happens when this cat eats too many rabbits? Shortens their lifespan. They're a carnivore. But if they eat too many rabbits, the rabbits will become extinct. And then there will be no more Canadian lynx. So nature has built into the species a mechanism via which if the predator eats too much animal protein, too much prey, it shortens its lifespan so it doesn't decimate the prey. It doesn't just shorten the lifespan, it has to have the prey come back and reproduce itself. So it has it so when you eat too much animal protein, it doesn't just affect your health, it shortens the lifespan of your children and your children's children. It goes on for 2 generations. So when lions and cats start to eat too many hares, they shorten their lifespan, they shorten the lifespan of their children and their grandchildren. So the prey don't get destroyed. When we're an animal that's a natural, a primate, it's mostly a frugivore, not a carnivore, the effect of overeating animal protein is magnified, more so than a carnivore. We shorten the lifespan of our own life and our children and our grandchildren when we eat unhealthy. So we're talking here about next generational damage. So we're talking about high protein accelerates death, and especially high protein from fish. It's pure protein practically. And the fish is largely polluted. You want to decrease all animal protein. So I'm running out of time. We're talking about a Nutritarian diet which gives you many, many years of a healthy life expectancy, because when an American diet, you're not just dying younger, you're living a poor quality life before you die, for 10 years before you die. Here you're pushing the envelope of human longevity, yes, but you have a good quality of life during those years. And I can show all these people who lost 100 pounds in a year, or lost 300 pounds, and all these people who lost 125 pounds in a year and lost 150 pounds in a year, but those people didn't just lose weight, they got rid of their diabetes, they got rid of their sleep apnea, they got rid of their arthritis, they got rid of their asthma, right? They reversed their diseases, and they're living a much better life. All right, so nice to talk to you today. Wishing you all great health. Hope you have the fortitude to continue to learn throughout this information, study, become an expert, and reach out and help your communities. Thank you.